Afternoon all, hope you're well. We come down for a last minute session down Caister again. I weren't planning to come, but I thought might as well. Don't know if I'll get anything. There's nice little colour in the water, so it's got to be worth a try. There's about 18 mile an hour northerly wind blowing, so there's a bit of a breeze, plenty of colour in the water. It's just come down for a few hours. Well, one rod I'll put a 2-hook flapper, just little 1/0 hooks with a little slither of mackerel on, and the other rod done a clip down, same as before, 2 3/0 Shaughnessy hooks on a pennel rig, nothing too fancy, and that's baited her a lot with a big slither of mackerel as well. That's all I've got today. Any bait I've got, mackerel out of the freezer. It was a last minute trip. I didn't have no squid in the freezer or any other bait, so mackerel it is. Hope they like it. They got 2 hoops, haven't they? But yeah, it didn't look a bad day. A little bit of chop on the water. Just give it a go, see what we get. I can't see any weed on the beach. It's got to be a bit of bonus, isn't it? It's now a couple of hours to low water, so I'll get the last couple of hours. Low water's about 9:30, and I may get the first couple of hours of flood. See how it goes. Who knows? There's a few fish there will stay. Oh, I don't think mackerel's the best bait, but last few weeks there's been a lot of mackerel inside, and bass and other bits and pieces got to be feeding on them. So it might be worth a go. Anyway, mackerel's always good on a scratching rig for small stuff like dabs and eels and other bits and pieces in it. So that might be alright. Fingers crossed and all that. I just baited up and cast out. I put the 2-hook flapper about 30 yards out, and then I put the strip of mackerel probably about 70 yards out, just to sort of feel really, see if there's any weed in the water or what's going on. A lot of time here at Caister, the fish are like 35 yards out, 30 yards out, normally tight to the beach where the feed is, like the feed on the brown shrimp. So there's no point in casting distance if they're all tight. So when you start off like this, one at 30, one at 70, you just cover more bases, open up your options really. Well, there's something in the water anyway. Might not be a fish, but there's something swimming out there, that's for certain. There's a little old seal just in the breakers there. Ain't a very big one. Normally when there's seals, there's fish. We always find that when we're netting, if you're good on area netting after herring and there's a lot of seals there, you know there's a bit of fish there. If there ain't no seals, there ain't no fish. Alright, it can be a bit annoying seeing the odd seal there, but that's part and parcel now. Especially around here, like Caister Yarmouth way, there's about 12,000 seals in about 8 mile radius of us, so you just got to suck it up really. God, my right hand rod just wrapped round like hell. But here we are, got something good on here. And it turned about to be one of them horrible little seagulls. Hit my line, didn't it? Got me all excited. There's the seagull going along the beach feeding. God, thought I'd get your hopes up, didn't it, when your rod whack round. Thought you need something good, and it weren't. It's just a overgrown budgie. But there you go, that's life. Well, I suppose I better reel in for the first time tonight, see what the weed's like and blah blah blah. Well, first cast, a weaver. They got a poisonous spine on the back, you can see it there. The black spines, poisons in there, so I'll get the forceps out and get them off carefully. Touch them and it's very painful. I know several people have been stung by them, so I'll get him off and put him back. Well, that weaver was on the 2-hook rig, the old flapper, a little sliver of mackerel. I just baited up again, and I'm glad I bought my trusty forceps. You can just grab the hook with them little weavers and flick it, and they come off, so you ain't even got to touch them. You can just flick them back in the sea, no pain, no damage, and off at swim. The best way of a weaver. That ain't worth getting stung by them, you've got to be a bit careful. Well, that's definitely a start. First cast, one fish. You can't get any better than that, can you? Catching a weaver, that's typical round here. Let just show you what bottom's like. Soft sandy bottom where they bury in the bottom, and just their fins, the spiky nasty ones, stick above the sand to protect them against predators. And they just lay in wait for, so obviously got the upturned eyes, they just lay in wait for small shrimps and little fish and bits and pieces to swim past. But they are quite an active predator really. I've caught weavers on baited feathers fishing 20 foot down in 90 foot of water. So they definitely come up in the water feeding and will hunt. I was really shocked last year when I had a weaver at 20 foot down, 90 foot of water. It really did surprise me, but they're definitely active predators, even though they're designed to sit under the sand. Well, I'm now going to reel in the other rod, the one with the long slither of mackerel on it. That'd be nice to get 2 out of 2, but I don't know if I will. Better reel in and see. Well, there's a little bit of weed on the leader knot, but not a great deal. You can see crabs in usual fashion. There's a half a fillet of mackerel on there, and that's well been stripped. And I whipped it on with elastic. You thought that had protected it, but obviously not. Them claws are pretty good on them crabs, aren't they? Well, the other hook bait's a nice big chunk of mackerel. It's like half a fillet I whipped on there. Let's hope that gets something. If it was fried, I'd eat it. Yeah, just whipped it on with a bit of elastic because obviously mackerel's a bit soft when after it's been frozen. So I just firmed up. I could have firmed up with a bit of salt, but I didn't because that's last minute. I do like when they're salt and they're firmed up a bit, but this will have to do. I suppose I better reel in again and see if anything on that 2-hook flapper. We had the little weaver last cast, and this is the second cast, so that's it, we got something, eh? Just strip bait and not a sausage. Better get this baited up again. Get it back out. Want to see something decent next time. Well, I just reeled in the rod with a big bait on it that hadn't been touched. That was just virtually the same as I put it out there, so I stripped that off and re-bait up again. As you can see, there's a bit more northerly, started to get in the water, a bit more roll, and obviously churning up the bottom in the beach. So I baited up another half a fillet of mackerel. I just flicked it about 15 yards out. Give that a go, because obviously when them big swells are coming there, they're starting to break about 30, well, starting to lift about 30 yards out. So it must be shallow there and stirring up the bottom. So I'll just give that a go. Put the big bait 15 yards and the 2-hook flapper in the usual place. About 30 yards out. You got to try different things, adapt and change. If you ain't getting fish, change distances. You've got to try at the end of the day. Well, that's got to be time to reel in the 2-hook flapper, see if anything on there. Got bait up again. The old bait's been stripped and not a sausage. I'll get that baited up and back out again. It looking very clicky so far, is it? Well, I didn't get anything fishing in close with a big bait. I just noticed when them big swells roll in, there's a mark about 60-70 yards out to my right where it boil up, where it's shallow. So obviously the gully in the wave is nearly touching, or the trench should I say, is nearly touching the bottom. So just they plumped the bait on there, a big bait. Let's hope we get something here. Give that a go. You've got to try different things. I've still got the 2-hook flapper sitting about 30 yards out. I start to lump up there a bit now where the 2-hook flapper is. I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see it on the camera where I've got the panel rig. But there you go. Can but try that. This sun's starting to go down now, so it's starting to get dark. But I thought I had a few fish today because the water's a lovely colour again. Dirty. I was thinking like going in the boat on Thursday if the weather's alright, but the water stay this colour, I ain't gonna get nothing jigging. But we'll stay here and see how it's going. That should be actually bottom of the tide now, or getting near bottom of the tide. Well, a good wave just come through and you can now see the spot where I cast to. Obviously the wave actually broke over it. That's chewing up the bottom, obviously releasing a bit of feed hopefully, so that's why I cast there. There you see it now, just the remnants, bit of foam on the surface, was just excess protein in the water. So that's how we get a fish there. Well, apart from that first cast, I had that weaver. I haven't seen another fish. It's now slack water. A couple of hours later, I haven't seen anything. Unbelievable, isn't it? When you get a fish your first cast, or it's only a weaver, you think there must be something here. I had nothing since. I didn't know if coming fishing was a good idea. I don't know if I should just pop down a pub and had a few sherbets in the pub and had a bit of laugh and a bit of banter. Because there certainly doesn't seem to be much fish here at the minute. Bloody terrible. Hopefully as it gets dark and the start of this flood we might see a fish or two, but it's not looking good, is it? At least last trip we had a couple of eels and a dab. Well, it must be about slack water about now. I haven't had a fish since the first cast, was a bit disappointing. But there you go, that's life, innit? You can't worry, it's just nice to be down here. But we're starting to lose the light a bit. Obviously the nights have just started to draw in now, unfortunately. I'll just get this rod reeled in, have a look at the 2-hook flapper and see what we've got on there. Don't think we've got anything, but who knows. Let's give it a go. Just stripped hooks and a bit of weed. Not very good. There's times like these you wish you had a free whiting. But when you get tons of whiting in the autumn, you're sick to death of them, you don't want them. Can't really win, can you? Well, it's about an hour past the tide. That bait has been out there probably half hour and that's virtually untouched. So I think I'm going to call it a night. There doesn't seem to be a lot of fish here. There's plenty of swell, isn't it? You can see it. There's plenty of swell. That doesn't look too bad. I think I'm going to call it a night and pack up and go and see. Tripod rods are all down. That's nearly a blank. I think next time I'll have to venture up to around the Suffolk border. There seem to be a lot more fish around that way than on the sand. There's a lot more mud and feed up there, so thanks for watching anyway. See you later. Bye.